I've been on this DTF journey for nearly 2 years now, and I think that I finally found a printer that I absolutely love. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Patrice. If this is your first time here, check out my other content. I post a lot about DTF, also sublimation. I use different vinyl cutters, embroidery, you name it, I probably have tried it. So check out my other content. If you enjoyed this content and you learned something new, I would love it if you would give us a thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button. For my returning subscribers and members, hey y'all, welcome back. We have yet another addition to our crafty family. Today we are going to be unboxing a Procolored Pro A3 DTF dual head printer. Shout out to Charles and everybody over at Procolored for giving your girl this printer so that she can test it out, and also honestly to help me to expand my business. So I'm looking forward to unboxing this. This particular printer can print up to 13 inches wide, but there is a roll attachment to it so it can print continuously. So we are going to unbox this, get this set up, see how easy it is to get it set up. For those of you who have been here for a while, you know that I started out with an Epson EcoTank 8550 that I converted into DTF printing, and while it worked for me at the time, I probably wouldn't go back there. I love where I am now, even with the L1800. I just feel like the 8500 was so much more work than even the L1800. And also after using this Pro dual head printer for about 3 months now, it's a no-brainer. So I definitely want you all to see how this operates. It was a bit challenging just to get that software installed at first, and I did get a little bit of help from the folks over at Procolored. However, we got it up and running, and y'all, it has been smooth sailing ever since. Now, if you're just getting into DTF, DTF is direct to film, meaning that we're printing onto a film, but you are going to be able to use white ink. And with a lot of DTF printers, or most all DTF printers, you're going to need a RIP software, and that RIP software is generally an additional fee. However, with the Procolored printer, it comes with the software already included, so you won't have any extra fees outside of purchasing your ink, purchasing your film, and that sort of thing. But y'all, I'm super excited about trying this out. I want you guys to see how this works. This printer is said to be a whole lot faster. There are 2 print heads, so it's going to go a lot quicker than what we have experienced. Definitely with the Epson 8550, but also with the L1800. So let's get ready and unbox and see what this cute panda printer is all about. Is it just cute, or is it powerful? Like, we want it to be powerful, but y'all know I like a good looking printer. So let's get started.
Alright guys, so this is probably my least favorite part, is unboxing the crate, but I'm just going to go ahead and get everything out. I did need help lifting this up because this is pretty heavy. If you get one of these printers or a similar printer, you want to make sure you have a crowbar so that you can get this box opened correctly.
Okay y'all, so here is our printer out of the box, and you can actually open these drawers with these latches on the side. There's one on the right side and also one on the left, but we're going to look closer at the machine once we identify what everything is. So on the cord itself is a flash drive, and this probably has the software that we'll be needing, and last time it had instructions as well, so I'm just assuming that everything is going to be on here, but we will know once we open this up. Now, these long cotton swabs, I got these from off of Amazon. This did not come with the printer, but I usually keep a lot of these handy so that I can access the print head and clean from underneath there. It also came with this Allen wrench, and that will be to help us tighten in the roll attachment. I also have ink. Now this did not come with the printer. This is separate, but I did get ink. Of course, we need all of the different inks: cyan, yellow, black, magenta, and we have 2 whites because this white goes pretty quickly. Also have a roll of DTF film that we're going to attach. And let's see what's inside of this box. You do kind of want to be careful, don't dig too far down, kind of do a surface cut. All right, so we do have a few things, and looks like a Ethernet USB cord. They also sent some cotton swabs, which is very nice. These are actually longer than the ones that I have. And those are really, really handy. A regular cotton swab just doesn't get the job done. All right, so we have extra tubing and cartridges. We have the power cord. We're going to put this over here on the printer. We also have some cloths. Knowing the other printer, the L1800 that I have, I guess this is for the waste tank possibly, but we will check. We're going to check to see, or maybe this is for the waste tank. We'll have to check. But it looks like there's a fuse, and then this is probably also the, we're going to hold on to that. We're going to keep that inside of the jar. But we also have, this looks like this is the RIP software, and usually this is the USB for the RIP software. So we're just going to leave that in here for now. Okay. We have just extra supplies in here. So I'm going to keep these all together so that I don't misplace them. And this is going to be probably for the rollers, for us to connect the attachment. So that's what this is. This is for connecting the roller. And this is to extract any ink probably. And then we also have another one, so I'll see what we'll need that for. It's possible that we don't need it now. And this is what we need to connect to the printer so that we can set up our DTF roll. And this is another, this is possibly the waste tank. It looks like it's going to be different from the one on the L1800. So that's what this looks like. I'm just going to get everything opened up, and we're going to get ready to set the printer up.
Alright guys, so the first thing that we're going to do is get ready to install the roller feeder, and we need to install arms on both sides, and this printer came with the screws already attached in the place where we're going to insert the arms, and here I'm just taking the screws out. Once you have them out, you need to make sure that you place the arms in the correct position so that you can have your roll installed properly. You can also look at the instruction video, and it will give you detailed instructions as well.
Okay, so here's the roll holder, and so I am actually going to loosen this up. In the video, it shows that it comes separated, but I actually received mine like this where it's all together. And so you want to make sure that this is on the left side and the right side is pretty clear, okay? So we're going to loosen this up. And then I'm also going to loosen this side because I actually want to remove it. So I'm removing the one on the right side, but I'm not taking anything out, okay? So now that we have this, we're going to get our paper roll and place it on there. So I removed the plastic, and inside these little caps, and I'm taking them out on both sides. And so as you see, it tells you the direction that this needs to be fed into the printer.
And this roll is pretty heavy. So I am going to go ahead and place this end there. We're going to take this and then we're going to fit it on top just like this. And I am just making sure it's nice and snug on there. And I'm going to tighten it back up. Same thing here. So we're going to tighten this one back up too. So next up, we're going to place the resistance device on top, and you want to make sure that it's facing down like this. So this side is what is going to go against the film or on the roll holder. So you want to make sure that that's like that, and you just kind of fit it in the grooves. Right? And so this is what it should look like. So now it's time for us to place our film on the roll holder. And so you just want to make sure this is faced down and that goes there. And then you want to make sure that this side is also in place, and let's push it down. All right, and you want to make sure that it rotates smoothly. Like such. Before you turn your printer on, you want to make sure that you clip the cord that's attached to the belt. Don't clip the belt, just make sure you clip the zip tie to loosen that up before turning your printer on. Finally, on the side of your printer, you have two doors, which makes cleaning your print head super easy. And let's take a look underneath. Okay, y'all, so this is what the inside of the DTF printer looks like from the left side, and we are going to lift up the rollers so that we can continue placing the roll film inside. So to lift up the rollers, you're going to press this here and just lift it up. And as I lift that up, if you notice, those rollers lifted as well. Now we're going to get ready to bring this through. So we need to loosen up these screws, but you don't want to remove them. You just want to loosen them up. Now it's time for us to feed the film through the roll, and you want to make sure that you have the arrows pointed towards the printer, and we're feeding the film through the feed, not the film through the roll. But we're going to make sure that this is going underneath those pinch wheels. Make sure you have those pinch wheels lifted up. And now we are going to adjust the two bars on the side. This is very important in making sure that your film feeds through correctly. So you don't want it to be all the way under. You want to make sure that you kind of have it the way that I have it, because if not, that will prevent it from running through the feed correctly. Okay, and so once you have it like that, you want to make sure you tighten those screws up, and you will need a super small tiny screwdriver that does not come with the printer. So now we're going to get ready and plug it in, and it goes right here. So now we're going to turn it on. Per the instructional video. Okay, it's making a little bit of noise. Oh, I did forget to press those rollers down. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, now the rollers are down. So you want to make sure once you have your paper in, you want to make sure that you put the rollers down. But per the video instructions, it's already set. The heat for the bottom plate should be correct, so we don't have to adjust that. and we are going to see what this control panel does. All right, so we have the control panel right here. All right, guys, so we haven't installed any of the software yet to my laptop. We are simply getting this set up, and then we're going to install the software. So if you press these buttons, it will move the print head. So you have a menu button, you have a forward. I believe that's going to be for the paper. The forward and backward is for the paper. The left and right should be for the print head. And then you have, I guess, if you're going to test, print something, for cleaning, adjust the quality. There are other options, enter, and I'm not sure what that's for, a pause or to cancel. And then you can access a menu, so I don't know if anything will actually come up here. But we are going to possibly see if we press this left button, what will happen, if the print head will move. It just kind of revved up, so let's do a long press. Okay, so the long press worked. And I'm going to bring you over here so you guys could see how the docking station for the dual print heads look inside of there. And now we're going to return it back home, and we're going to press the right button, the long press. Oh, so that long press is what really moves it. Okay. Right, so then let's see if we have our paper installed correctly underneath the brackets. So I'm going to press forward. Okay, so if it's smooth, it's supposed to be nice and flat. You don't want anything to bunch up. So it looks like, for the most part, it is connected the way that it should be. Alright guys, so this is what we will use the adapter that they sent to us with. We're going to plug this in over here. And then I am going to connect the Ethernet cord or outlet into here, the cord. And then we're going to go ahead and insert the white instructional video into this computer. All right, so we've already done, let's go to the second one, the first one, and now we're going to, this is must-see courses for new customers. We've already powered it on and tested the machine. Now we're going to install control software and find network port. So we are going to go ahead and watch this video so that we can see our next steps.
When installing software, it is
Alright guys, so this printer came with two different types of software. So the first is a print manager software, and then also you'll have the RIP software to add on. So I already installed the print manager software. Now we're going to get ready to install the ink, and they suggest to move the print head over to the center of the printer prior to installing the ink. I also chose to turn the printer off before I actually put the ink inside. So now it's time to install the ink, and you just want to make sure that you install it in the correct tanks. So each tank is labeled, and you want to make sure that you match that label, that color, with the actual ink that you're going to be putting. I'm using DTF ink from Procolored, and this part is pretty easy to do. There is one white tank, and that white tank is going to be for both of the whites that you'll be using, and this is it right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the white ink into there. Once we're done with that, we're going to move to the front of the printer so that we can draw that ink out from the front. So for the next step, we're going to remove the front plate of the print head, and over here, well, this isn't the print head, but it's the entire print head setup. So we're going to remove the black plate, and there are 2 screws on each side that you'll have to remove in order to get that removed. This is important in moving because we will need to access the dampers and draw out that ink. Inside of the box that comes with the printer are some syringes and some tips for you to be able to get into the cartridges and draw that ink out. So here I'm going to start with the white, and you want to draw out about 5 to 10 ml of ink from each of the printers or each of the cartridges, and this is very important in making sure that the ink runs smoothly and flows correctly. So I'm going to continue doing that for each of the whites, and then once I'm done with removing the ink from the white, we're going to move to the other colors. When you get to the other colors, you want to make sure that you clean that tip off, because you don't want to get any other colors inside of your cartridge when you're removing your ink. But you want to make sure that you remove 5 to 10 ml of inks. I prefer to go ahead and just remove 10 ml of all of the inks, just to be on the safe side, but this is important, okay? So make sure that you don't cross-contaminate that ink when you're doing this part. Alright, so this part wasn't that difficult, but you do have to be very careful. Make sure you put those cartridges back in correctly. Alright, so now we're getting ready to power our printer on, and that print head is going to get ready to start moving and going back into its docking station. Now that it's docked, we're going to get ready to draw out ink from the waste tank. Now, I don't know if you can do that when it's out. No, it needs to be docked, so you want to make sure you turn it back on. Now we just need to go ahead and remove the screws, because we're going to have to install the waste tank onto the printer, and these tubes are necessary in the whole process. But now there's a clip that came with it with the jar attached to it. That's where you're going to connect to the printer, and we just removed the screws and we're putting them back on. Once you have this part done, you're going to clip the zip ties from around the tubing so that you can get ready to extract ink from the tube that will go into the waste tank. Now you want to make sure that you're very careful that you don't press any buttons on the machine, because that ink will go everywhere because it's not inside of the actual jar yet. So you want to make sure that you're very, very careful, and you have to place the printer at the edge the way that I have it, because that jar drops down and it won't be able to sit on top of the table or your stand or whatever you have. But you want to make sure that you draw ink only from the white and the black. So there's going to be one clear tube, and then there's going to be two tubes, the white with the white ring and the black ring, and those are the only two that you'll be drawing ink from. Right, and so right now I'm just doing a quick nozzle check to see if those nozzles are flowing, and it does look like they're flowing pretty good, but I don't have white ink on the film, so that means that I may need to do a print head cleaning and then print out another nozzle check. And this is all done from the print manager. We have not installed the RIP software yet, and here I'm checking it. I ran a print head cleaning. I think I ended up running 2 print head cleanings, and there now you can see the white, and the colors are looking pretty good. All right, so I'm pretty happy. Actually, at the time I was super excited about it, but everything looks to be going pretty good. But of course, you don't want many lines in your nozzle checks. Now that that's taken care of, it's time for us to install the RIP software. And the software that came with this printer is a Procolored RIP software. This is a new RIP software. I haven't used it before, and I did get a little bit of help with installing the software onto my printer or onto my computer from Procolored. So that meant I had to stay up really late at night to get that done. However, I was able to get that completed. Alright guys, this is the initial unboxing, and I am not 100% comfortable with either of the softwares. So we have a ProRip DTF software from Procolored, and then there is also like a print manager software that we use as well with it. And here you can clean it, you can adjust the settings and that sort of thing. And so there's like 2 different programs. And once I fully know everything about the programs, I will definitely let you know. But I do want to let you guys know I needed extensive help with getting this onto the computer. I'm hoping that the software will be more easily accessible for anybody who wants it, and I have addressed that with Procolored, but I did need to stay up very late for someone to help me get this software on here. It's a newer software that they have. I didn't have to do this before with either the UV printer or my other DTF, so I'm just hoping that it's just isolated to this case and it will be a lot easier for others to be able to access this software. Now, if you want, you can totally get your own software. You can use a different RIP software. You don't have to use their RIP software. All right, this is the main page of the ProRip software. So I want to import something inside. So what I will do is I'm going to create a new job, and then we want to load the job. Next, I'm going to add a photo. So we're going to add a picture here, and I will be able to select the image that we want. And here's where you'll be able to adjust it. You can lay out your sheet however you want to lay it out. Right now, I'm just going to go ahead and try to print it like this so that you guys can see how that will look. And I will print another on the side. Let's see. And that's actually going to be too small. So what we can do is we can adjust the width and the height, but we really want to work on the settings of the page. So I need to figure out how to do that. Right now this is saying that this is a 2x18. So I'm clicking on canvas. And so once I clicked on canvas, that opens up our page parameters. And so what we can do here is we can adjust the size. So it says the height is about 19. So I'm going to make that height a little bit more because the design is a little larger. So we're going to click OK. And so if you see, that did add more to the design. So if you are planning on doing any gang sheets, you can use that to do it in this software. And I'm just setting it up. Of course, you can do this in your design software if you'd like. This is not a design software. This is only for the purpose of being able to print out your DTF prints. Once I get more command of this, I don't want to see you guys wrong in this area. So once I get a little better understanding of what I'm doing in here, I will definitely show you all even closer. Right now we're just unboxing it, and this is going to be my very first print. So at the bottom, when I kind of hovered down here at the bottom, you're able to flip your prints and mirror them. This looks like you can rotate it and lock your proportions. This is going to move it down. So here we're going to do a mirror, and we need to make sure that we select the picture first. Let's see if we can select multiple. No, it doesn't look like we can select multiple. Maybe we can. But let's see with both selected if we can mirror those two, and we were able to. And then I'm just going to go ahead and mirror that as well. All right, so those are mirrored. And here's already selected mirror print, but I actually mirrored it already on the screen. So I might want to just go ahead and unclick that for now. Manual print after RIP, automatic print after RIP, print while RIP. So you can select whichever would be best for you. I am going to select manual print after RIP. The colors are good, and our printer is selected. So we're going to select print. And then once you select print, it is now ripping. And then once that reaches 100, we can go ahead and begin printing. All right, so this is at 100%. And so now that that's at 100%, I'm going to select there. And then I'm going to select print over here. So I have the design that I want, and we're going to select print. And now we see here where it says that it's printing. So it's getting ready to print, and everything is aligned the way that it needs to be aligned, and it should start printing out. So we're going to see how long it takes to print out this image. So I have it at the edge of the table so that it can fall out and not really get jammed up. So already now I don't see my white, so it looks like I may need to do some print head cleanings already. There's a little white coming out, I see it now. But it still looks like I need to kind of work on that a little bit more. So I want you guys to see, like, at the edge of it's right here at the edge of the table. And so this is just going to let it keep falling. They don't recommend for it to kind of lay straight. And once we get a shaker system, then this should be a lot easier. So I have some smearing already. Oh, I see why. All right, we're going to have to start over, because we do have a little bit of smearage going on. Alright guys, on my first print I got some smearing going on, and that was because of the way that it was coming out of the machine. It still had a slight lift here, and this needs to be very, very flat. So what I'm going to do is, when they told me before to kind of move it over to the right, I did, but I don't think that that really gives it the proper support that it needs. So I'm going to move it back over to the left a little bit more, because that did not hold it down the way that we needed it to. Now, ideally, when I first started DTF, you never wanted your prints to come out like this. You always needed your prints to be flat when they came out. But now I think with the new inks, you don't really have to worry about your ink running. Another thing is that I need to look at that white, because this white should be a lot whiter. If you guys notice, there is an extra white layer here at the top of the word student, and I see the same thing occurring at the top of the word government. So that's probably more so just a settings thing, but I definitely want to make sure that the white is printing as it should. So I see white here around the edge, like an extra layer of white there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to unscrew these, and be careful, get extra screws. If you notice any screws starting to strip, you definitely want to get that taken care of. You don't want any stripped screws. So I'm just going to move this over a little bit, just to try to keep this down a lot more. And then we're going to tighten it back up. And then we'll test it and see how it flows through, because I need to cut off this area anyway. Alright guys, so we're going to move this out, and I'm just going to press backwards, and the paper will roll out. And there is a cutting edge here, so you can put a slicer here to cut it, to make sure, you know, that you have straight lines or whatever. I'm just going to get my X-Acto knife and just kind of nick it and run it along that line. Alright, so that did not come out as we wanted it, but I'm hopeful. I am hopeful for the next print. And I still went ahead and printed out backwards. So I'm not going to mirror it in the system. So we're going to get ready to print this out again. But before we do that, I am going to select cleaning. Select clean, and then it will begin to clean. Guys, so my paper or my film needed a little help to make sure that it stays nice and flat. So I put these 3 wood clamps on there just to make sure that that paper stayed flat. And guess what? It stayed flat and came out great. I did not have any smearing. The film did not lift up, and that print head was free and clear, and it printed the way that it needed to. But my white did not look as white as I wanted it to look, and so what I did was I kind of shook up that ink a little bit more. I drew some more of that white ink out, and now we're going to see how this will print out, because we did make a little bit of changes. I just feel like maybe I didn't shake up the ink enough when I initially put the ink inside of the tank, and so we're going to see how this is going to look and see how long this is going to take. Alright guys, so this is what the printer sounds like. Not too bad, but it's not a super quiet printer. And from what I see here, that white is printing out beautifully on top of the color, so I'm really happy about that. So just know that sometimes you will need to make sure that your ink is shook the way that it needs to be shaken. Maybe draw out some of that white ink if it's not printing the way that you want it to print. Inside of the settings, I really didn't make any special changes in the settings when trying to get this white printed out, because the settings look correct. So what we're doing now is we're printing it out, and this took about 3 minutes for us to print this one image. With the L1800, it would usually take me almost 10 minutes, 10 to 11 minutes just to print this image out. Pretty much the same size and everything. So already this printer takes way less time to print, but y'all look at that white ink. That looks beautiful. That is how the white ink is supposed to look. It's not supposed to be translucent. It is supposed to be white, because this white ink is what allows us to be able to print onto black and dark color shirts and have that ink be very vibrant. Alright guys, so we got it up and printing, and the only part that you're not going to see me do is to powder it with the adhesive powder, because I just want to get it set up and get everything working. But of course you will need your adhesive powder, and you will need to cure it in order to be able to use this as an actual print. What I love also is that I'm able to print it on a roll and just slice it when I'm done. So this is also a great printer if you need to print multiple transfers.
Alright y'all, so we are all done with unboxing and testing out and y'all, it's not even a test. I have been using this printer to make so many transfers, to make so many shirts already in 3 months. I've already made up to 800 shirts using this printer, and I absolutely love it. I love it. I can't say anything negative about the printer. You just have to know how to work the printer. If you're just getting into DTF, I would encourage you to do a lot of research to understand your printer so that you can understand exactly how it works and how to make it work best for you. Maintenance is very important. You want to make sure that you are following the maintenance regimen that Procolored provides you, and then you will experience a long-lasting printer. Now, there are times where you will need to replace the print head or maybe the dampers and things like that. So you do want to make sure that you are following the proper maintenance protocol when you're doing your maintenance, and in that way you can at least go to them if there's anything that is wrong. They will help you. Now, the one thing that I must say with Procolored that I'm not a huge fan of, I love their printers. I have a UV printer from them. I also have my L1800 from them, and they both run beautifully. The only issue that I have is the fact that you have to talk to customer service in the middle of the night if you are in the US. That doesn't necessarily work for me because I also have a 9-to-5. So I don't really like that, but what I've heard is that they have a new US warehouse, and it's possible that they may be opening up a call center where you don't have to talk to somebody in the middle of the night and stay up all night and try to fix your problems. Okay? But somebody will be there to assist you. I will have a link listed to the printers that I have from Procolored below in the description if you are interested. If you are interested in any of those printers, you can use my discount code CraftableThings. Right now it's like $80 off, but $80 could be some ink, could be paper, or it could just go towards your printer. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to head over to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and join the Craftable Things communities there as well. In addition, make sure to check me out on Threads. I'm trying to get that up and running. But that's it for today, y'all. Thank you all so very much for watching. Until next time.